We're going to stay on this story and we're going to stay in the studio because I'm delighted to say joining me here now is our political analyst, Onur Erim. Onur, we've heard about the events of the day. We've heard how it will be commemorated here today in 2025. But 9 years on, how would you assess the significance of that day in the history of the country?
I think it's a night to remember for us all for years to come. But not only for Turks in Turkey, but also for all those people around the world. If you do try to undermine the democratically elected politicians, at the end, this is what will happen. Now, as we talked about before, this was probably the first of its kind in the history where people are actually defying against a armed section of a armed force. This was unbelievable. Nobody really imagined that this would play out this way. I don't think the perpetrators of this planned this either. But till the morning, I remember, I think the things started calming down about 6 a.m. or so in the morning of the July 16th. But everybody was so just in peace. And yes, unfortunately, we had 250 martyrs of that night. People that actually stood nothing for except the freedom and the sovereignty of the state. I think this set a very good example. A very recent example to everybody around the world. If you try to undermine the process of democracy, the people who are elected, this is what would happen. Hopefully, that this will never even be tried by anybody outside of Turkey, in Turkey or anywhere else. So it's a significant night. It's a significant result. It's something definitely for the history books.
I mean, if you just look behind us, some of the pictures, extraordinary really, all these years on, that it took place, well, here in such a big European city, not far from where we're standing now. Does that take you back 9 years and make you remember where you were and how you felt?
Absolutely. I remember we had some sonic bombs that we were faced with in the Atatürk airport where I was. And I remember being just startled, even if there was a little door shut very, very fast for years, or for actually a couple of years after. I can't even imagine the people that actually were facing the bullets over here. Now, let's not forget also that you see people's reaction. You see people just heading towards a bullet, as we would say it in Turkish. And this is not a spur-of-the-moment decision. This is hours in the making. So everybody over there knew exactly what was going on and knew exactly what they were walking into. Yet, as you could see from all these heroes, that there's not a bit of a hesitation. There's not a bit of a backstep in any of them, which is we appreciate all their memories for all those who actually paid with their lives for our freedom in this country.
Yeah, and just tell us a bit more about the group behind it. How it came to be and the efforts to try to eradicate terror groups in the country since then.
Well, we now understand even actually better, and probably there's still some room to go as to find out exactly the motivation and exactly the entire set of people who are perpetrators of this. But we do understand that the head of the FETO terrorist organization, head terrorist Fethullah Gülen, has been in the making for probably over 50 years. So this wasn't a small project. It was a big project. It possibly could have been a part of even a bigger project beyond the borders of Turkey. So, and there were some signs along the way that, were actually treated, but obviously not treated well enough. But this actually, I think, gave a big lesson, historical lesson, to the people of Turkey, also that anything and everything within this country which is domestic, which is Turkish made, is okay. But anything that is, because we can all sort out our differences amongst us, but anything that's rooted or sourced from outside is going to be a disaster like this, or a cause of a disaster like this, no matter how good they could be seen in along the way. So again, this is a 40, maybe 50 year in the making, maybe longer. As the time passed, we'll see more. It was a very delicate operation by those powers outside of Turkey, and that we now see how dangerous these things could be.
Yeah, and pictures here from Ankara, along with the pictures we saw from the bridges of Istanbul. I mean, was there an inkling that anything like this was brewing? Did it take everybody in the country by surprise? And you know, had security forces some preparedness for such an event?
I think there was, at least in certain areas, in certain levels, there was a cautious, of concern. However, I don't think anybody actually counted for the Turkey's own military equipment, as far as big as jets, being utilized to actually carry this out. But moreover, going as far as bombing the Turkish Grand National Assembly, I don't think anybody expected a force of this magnitude to actually be this bold, this radical, to just, as we say, burn all the bridges. Because you look at the history of coup d'etats around the world, or attempted coup d'etats, you see nothing like this. This was just a radical act of just total craziness. Thank God it was faced with the power of the people, which is something that no one in history was able to overcome.
Yeah, and the pictures do speak for themselves, don't they? 2016, extraordinary. Onur, thank you very much indeed for the moment. I think you're here with us throughout the day for our ongoing coverage. Onur Erim there in the studio.